A woman of God does not chase because she understands that true love is not something to be pursued. It is something to be attracted. She knows that when she aligns herself with God's purpose, the right person will recognize her value without her having to convince or persuade. When a woman chases a man, she operates from a place of lack, from a place of fear, from a place of feeling as though she must prove her worth. But a woman who walks in faith understands that she is already worthy, already chosen, already enough. She does not need to convince anyone to see her value because she knows that the right man will naturally be drawn to her energy, her confidence, and her unwavering belief in herself. When a woman chases a man, it is often because she has been conditioned to believe that love requires effort, that relationships must be fought for, that she must prove her devotion before she is considered worthy of being loved in return. She has seen movies, read books, and absorbed messages from society that tell her she must go out and get what she wants or else she will never have it. But this way of thinking is rooted in fear. The fear of being alone, the fear of not being chosen, the fear of not being good enough. And what happens when she operates from fear? She attracts the very things she is trying to avoid. She attracts uncertainty. She attracts imbalance. She attracts relationships where she gives far more than she receives. A woman of God does not fall into this trap because she understands a fundamental truth. Relationships built on force, on striving, on proving oneself are not relationships that last. When something is truly meant for her, she does not have to chase it. The right man will recognize her worth without her needing to fight for his attention. The right man will pursue her with intention, with purpose, with a heart that is aligned with hers. She does not have to manipulate circumstances or try to convince him that she is the right choice. She already knows that when the right connection comes along, it will not require struggle. It will feel natural. It will feel right. Chasing a man puts a woman in a position of imbalance. It places her in a role she was never meant to occupy. A woman of God is not meant to be the one leading the pursuit, the one constantly wondering where she stands, the one making all the effort while the other person remains passive. God created her to be cherished, to be valued, to be sought after. When she stands in her power and embraces her worth, she sends a clear message to the world. I know who I am, and I will not settle for less than what I deserve. This energy, this confidence is magnetic. It draws the right kind of man to her, the kind of man who sees her as a prize, not as an option. Many women struggle with the idea of not chasing because they fear that if they do not actively pursue love, it will never come to them. They worry that if they step back, they will be overlooked. But this fear is a lie. A woman of God understands that stepping back is not the same as doing nothing. It is about positioning herself in a way that allows the right person to find her. It is about focusing on her own growth, her own purpose, her own faith, knowing that as she becomes the best version of herself, she will naturally attract the right man. She is not idle, nor is she passive. She is simply aligned. She invests in herself emotionally, spiritually, and mentally. She builds a life she loves, one that is rich in joy, passion, and fulfillment. She surrounds herself with people who uplift her, who support her, who remind her of her worth. And in doing so, she sends out a signal vibration that draws in those who match her energy. She does not need to chase because she's already whole, already complete. The moment a woman understands this truth, everything changes. She stops looking at love as something she must earn and instead sees it as something she will naturally attract when she is living in alignment with who she truly is. She no longer settles for situations that leave her feeling unappreciated or undervalued. She walks away from relationships that drain her energy, knowing that the right person will never make her feel like she has to fight for a place in his life. She releases the need to chase and instead steps fully into her power, radiating the kind of confidence that commands respect, admiration, and ultimately true love. Your mind is a magnet, constantly pulling in experiences, people, and circumstances that match the energy you emit. Whether you realize it or not, your thoughts shape your reality. When you focus on lack, you attract more lack. When you dwell on loneliness, you create more reasons to feel alone. When you allow doubt and fear to dominate your thinking, you unknowingly invite more situations that confirm those very fears. The way you think and the emotions you dwell in are like signals being broadcast to the universe. And those signals return to you in the form of the people and experiences that enter your life. A woman who constantly worries about whether she will ever find love is unknowingly pushing it away. When she fixates on rejection, she attracts more relationships that leave her feeling rejected. When she operates from a mindset of desperation, she attracts people who do not value her. This is not because she is undeserving, but because she is so focused on what she lacks that she fails to see the abundance already available to her. She unknowingly conditions herself to see disappointment rather than possibility, pain rather than love, loss rather than gain. When a woman of God understands that her mind is a magnet, she begins to take control of her thoughts. She recognizes that she must shift her focus from what she does not have to what she desires to attract. Instead of worrying about when love will come, she chooses to believe that love is already on its way. Instead of feeling unwanted, she reminds herself that she is deeply valued and cherished by the Creator. Instead of dwelling on past heartbreaks, she chooses to see them as lessons that prepared her for something greater. She shifts her mindset from scarcity to abundance, from fear to faith, from insecurity to confidence. A woman who truly understands the power of her mind does not entertain thoughts of doubt, rejection, or self-pity. She does not waste time comparing herself to others or questioning why things have not happened for her yet. Instead, she fills her mind with faith, gratitude, and expectation. She knows that what she focuses on grows, so she deliberately chooses to focus on the love she already possesses, the love she has for herself, for God, for her purpose, and she refuses to let negative emotions take root because she knows that every thought she allows into her mind is shaping her future. There's a reason why some women seem to attract healthy, loving relationships effortlessly while others struggle and settle for less than they deserve. It is not luck. It is not chance. It is a reflection of their mindset. A woman who walks in confidence and self-worth naturally attracts a man who respects and cherishes her. A woman who radiates positivity and faith draws in a man who values those same qualities. She does not have to chase because her energy does the work for her. The way a woman speaks to herself, the way she carries herself, and the way she sees herself determines the kind of love she invites into her life. If she constantly tells herself that all men are the same, that she will never find the right one, or that she is not good enough, those beliefs will manifest in her experiences. But when she shifts her inner dialogue to one of worthiness, confidence, and certainty, her entire reality begins to shift. She starts to notice better opportunities, meet people who align with her values, and experience relationships that uplift rather than drain her. She does not allow temporary emotions to dictate permanent outcomes. She understands that feelings of loneliness, doubt, and frustration are natural, but she does not dwell in them. Instead, she chooses to redirect her focus to thoughts that serve her. She trains her mind to expect goodness, to expect love, to expect blessings. She surrounds herself with affirmations, scriptures, and words that remind her of her. She deliberately speaks life over herself because she knows that words carry power. Her energy changes, and when her energy changes, everything around her begins to shift. People respond to her differently. She attracts relationships that reflect her new mindset. She no longer finds herself in situations where she feels undervalued or ignored because she has set a new standard for herself. She is no longer in a state of waiting or worrying. She is in a state of preparation, knowing that the right things will come to her in the right time. She has learned the power of her thoughts, and she uses them to create the reality she desires. Faith is the antidote to fear. It is the force that eliminates doubt, insecurity, and every negative emotion that threatens to take control of the mind. When a woman of God fully embraces faith, she no longer allows anxiety to dictate her actions, nor does she allow fear to shape her decisions. Fear is a product of uncertainty. It creeps in when the future feels unclear, when things do not happen on her timeline, when she starts to wonder if what she desires will ever come to pass. But faith operates on a different level. Faith does not require proof, nor does it demand immediate results. Faith trusts in the unseen, knowing that what is meant for her is already being prepared. A woman who allows fear to control her will always find herself chasing love, chasing validation, chasing reassurance that she is enough. Fear whispers lies into her mind, telling her that if she does not take control, she will be left behind. It makes her question her worth, causing her to believe that if she does not prove herself, she will not be chosen. Fear convinces her that time is running out, that she must settle, that she must cling to whatever attention she can get before it is too late. And so she moves from a place of desperation rather than confidence, forgetting that God has already written her story. Negative emotions, worry, self-doubt, frustration are rooted in a lack of trust. They emerge when a woman begins to believe that she must figure everything out on her own. She overthinks every detail, trying to make sense of why things have not worked out the way she expected. She replays past mistakes, wondering if she is the reason love has not yet found her. She compares herself to others, questioning why they seem to have what she desires while she continues to wait. This mental spiral drains her energy, leaving her exhausted and discouraged. She does not realize that the very thing she is doing, overanalyzing, doubting, fearing, is what is blocking her blessing. Faith is what breaks this cycle. Faith is what allows a woman to release control, to surrender her timeline, to trust that what is meant for her will not miss her. Faith eliminates the need to chase because it replaces fear with certainty. A woman who walks in faith does not entertain negative emotions because she understands that they are not in alignment with the life God has designed for her. She does not allow discouragement to take root because she knows that every delay is divine. She does not question her worth because she knows she was created with purpose. She does not need external validation because she's already validated by the one who made her. Faith gives her the ability to let go of what is not meant for her without feeling like she is losing something valuable. She does not beg for attention. She does not hold on to relationships that drain her. She does not settle for less than what she deserves. When a door closes, she does not panic. She trusts that something greater is coming. She understands that rejection is often God's way of redirecting her towards something better. What looks like a loss is actually protection. What feels like disappointment is often preparation. She does not allow temporary setbacks to shake her confidence because she knows that her path is already set. Her mindset shifts. She no longer prays from a place of desperation, but from a place of gratitude. She thanks God in advance for what is coming, even before she sees it. She operates with an unwavering belief that love, success, and blessings are already hers. She does not worry about when or how they will arrive because she knows they are on their way. This kind of faith is powerful. It is unshakable. It transforms her entire being. She moves differently, speaks differently, carries herself differently. She radiates an energy of peace and confidence that is undeniable. She no longer chases because she understands that what is meant for her is already aligned with her, drawn to her, making its way toward her in divine timing. Rejection is one of the most painful experiences a woman can face, but it is also one of the most powerful tools for growth, transformation, and divine redirection. When a woman is rejected, whether by a man she loved, a relationship she hoped would work, or a situation she believed was meant for her, her immediate response is often to internalize the pain. She begins to question herself, wondering if she was not good enough, if she did something wrong, if she could have changed the outcome by being different. The human mind is wired to seek answers, to make sense of why things happen the way they do. But too often, these answers are built on self-doubt rather than truth. Rejection feels personal, but in reality, it is often divine intervention in disguise. When a door closes, it is not because a woman is unworthy or undeserving, but because that particular door was never meant for her. It is a hard truth to accept, especially when emotions are involved. But the reality is that God does not allow anything to be removed from a woman's life unless it is making space for something better. Yet instead of seeing rejection as redirection, many women cling to what is leaving them. They fight against the ending, believing that if they just hold on a little longer, things will change. But forcing something to work that is not meant to be is not love, it is fear. It is the fear of uncertainty, the fear of starting over, the fear of accepting that something she wanted may not have been meant for her. A woman of God understands that rejection is not a loss, it is protection. When something or someone exits her life, she does not waste energy chasing after it. She does not beg to be chosen, nor does she lower herself to prove her worth to someone who does not see it. Instead, she steps back and trusts that if that person was truly aligned with her purpose, they would still be present. She refuses to settle for temporary attention when she is designed for lasting love. She understands that just because she desires something does not mean it is the best thing for her. Sometimes What she wants is not aligned with what she needs, and God in his wisdom removes it before it can do more harm. The pain of rejection often comes from misplaced attachment. A woman invests time, energy, and emotions into a relationship, believing that it's leading to something greater. When it falls apart, she feels like she has lost a part of herself. But what she does not always realize is that sometimes rejection is the only way to free her from something that was holding her back. Sometimes she becomes so focused on a specific outcome that she does not see how much she is compromising herself in the process. She bends, she adjusts, she overlooks red flags, all in the name of keeping something that was never meant to be permanent. A woman who understands that rejection is redirection learns to let go with grace. She does not chase after what is leaving, nor does she dwell on what could have been. She shifts her perspective and asks, what is this making space for? She knows that every closed door is a sign that something better is ahead. She does not waste time crying over a relationship that ended because she trusts that the right one will not require struggle. She embraces the lesson, takes the wisdom gained, and moves forward with faith. She refuses to see rejection as a reflection of her worth. Instead, she sees it as proof that she is being guided towards something greater. When a woman operates from this mindset, she stops fearing rejection. She no longer avoids situations because she is afraid of being turned down. Instead, she welcomes clarity. She would rather know now that something is not for her than waste years trying to force something that will never work. She no longer views rejection as a failure, but as an answer, one that is protecting her from unnecessary pain in the future. She walks in confidence, knowing that what is truly meant for her will never require her to beg, chase, or convince someone to stay. She moves forward with certainty, trusting that every no is simply redirecting her to a better yes. A woman of God does not chase because she understands that she is the prize. She knows that she was created with intention, with value, and with purpose. She does not shrink herself to fit into someone else's life, nor does she compromise her worth just to be chosen. She walks with the awareness that she is already enough, already whole, already worthy of the love she desires. When a woman truly steps into her power, she no longer seeks validation from external source. She does not need a man to confirm her beauty, her intelligence, or her value because she has already affirmed those things within herself. The problem many women face is that they have been conditioned to believe that they must earn love, that they must work for attention, that they must prove themselves in order to be chosen. They are taught from a young age that if they are too confident, too independent, or too self-assured, they will scare men away. And so they dim their light, they lower their standards, they settle for less than what they truly desire, all in an attempt to be accepted. But the truth is, a woman who steps into her power does not worry about who is intimidated by her. She is not concerned with whether or not someone can handle her strength, her intelligence, or her confidence. She is only concerned with being the best version of herself. And she trusts that the right man will recognize and appreciate her exactly as she is. A woman who fully embraces her worth does not waste her time chasing after a man who is unsure about her. She does not sit by the phone waiting for a call that never comes. She does not obsess over mixed signals or try to decode someone's feelings. She does not allow inconsistency, disrespect, or uncertainty to take up space in her life. She knows that a man who truly values her will show up for her. He will be clear about his intentions. He will pursue her with confidence, not confusion. She does not have to beg for love because real love does not require begging. It flows naturally. It is intentional. When a woman steps into her power, she raises her standards, not just for relationships, but for every area of her life. She refuses to entertain anything that does not align with her purpose. She walks away from situations that drain her energy. She surrounds herself with people who uplift her, who inspire her, who challenge her to grow. She invests in herself. She takes care of her body, her mind, and her soul. She builds a life that she loves, not because she is waiting for someone to complete her, but because she understands that she is already complete. Men are naturally drawn to a woman who operates from this space. Confidence is magnetic. A woman who is secure in herself does not have to chase because she naturally attracts the right kind of energy. She carries herself with grace, with dignity, with a quiet assurance that speaks volumes. She does not have to prove her worth. She simply embodies it. She does not need to chase love. Love finds her. She does not need to force connections. The right connections align effortlessly. The moment a woman fully embraces her power, everything shifts. She no longer questions whether or not she is good enough. She no longer settles for half-hearted love. She no longer tolerates behavior that does not align with her value. She moves differently. She speaks differently. She carries herself with an energy that commands respect. And in doing so, she naturally attracts the kind of man who recognizes her worth, who pursues her with purpose, and who values her